Why friends are more important than ever after 70. How friendship redefines aging. There's something almost magical about the way life shifts after 70. The rush to prove yourself slows down. The noise of chasing after things begins to quiet, and in that newfound stillness, something more precious comes into focus. The people who stand by your side, not the crowds, not the acquaintances, but the true friends who fill your days with laughter, memories, and meaning. We spend so much of our lives focused on building careers, raising families, solving one crisis after another, that friendships sometimes get tucked away in the background. There's always tomorrow. We tell ourselves, always another Arnton to call, to meet, to reconnect. But when you reach this beautiful, wiser season of life, you realize something powerful. It was never about the big moments. It was about the people you shared them with. After 70, friendships aren't just nice to have. They're essential. They're the secret ingredient that makes life rich, colorful, and deeply satisfying. Because no matter how strong you are, no matter how independent you pride yourself on being, life was never meant to be lived alone. It's the conversations over coffee, the walks in the park, the simple act of knowing someone is thinking of you that keeps the spirit alive. And the truth is, friends after 70 are different. They know what you've been through, because they've lived through it too. They understand the quiet aches, the bittersweet memories, the value of a belly laugh that makes you feel young again. They see you, the real you, not through the lens of who you used to be or what you used to achieve, but for who you are now and who you're still becoming. Sometimes we fall into the trap of believing that making new friends is only for the young, that somehow it's too late to build new bonds or deepen the ones we already have. But nothing could be further from the truth. If anything, this stage of life is the perfect time. You're wiser now. You know what matters. And the friendships you make, or nurture, now are often more genuine, more profound, and more life-giving than anything you had in your earlier years. In this journey together, we're going to talk about why friends matter more now than ever before. We'll look at the hidden dangers of isolation, the healing power of connection, and how to keep your heart open to new beginnings, no matter how many candles were on your last birthday cake, because your story isn't over yet. In fact, some of the most beautiful chapters are still waiting to be written, and they're meant to be shared. So let's dive deep into why friendship, in all its beautiful, messy, unforgettable glory, is the real treasure of life after. Number 1, the silent epidemic, loneliness after 70. It's something most people don't talk about until they're living it. Loneliness. The kind that doesn't just creep in when you're sitting alone, but the kind that settles into the corners of your everyday life, even when you're surrounded by people. After 70, it can hit harder than you ever expected. Maybe friends have moved away. Maybe loved ones have passed on. Maybe life just quietly shifted. And suddenly the invitations stop coming. The phone doesn't ring as much. The world outside your window feels a little less connected to you. And the thing is, it's not because you've done anything wrong. It's not because you're any less vibrant, less worthy, less needed. It's simply the natural rhythm of time. But knowing that doesn't always make it easier. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a health risk. Research shows that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, depression, cognitive decline, even early mortality. It affects how you sleep, how you heal, and how you face each new day. It's heavy and it's real. The saddest part, it often goes unnoticed. You could walk into a room filled with smiles and handshakes and still feel invisible, because real connection isn't about being around people. It's about being with them, heart to heart, soul to soul. There's no shame in feeling lonely. There's no weakness in missing the closeness you once had. In fact, it's a sign of something beautiful inside you. A heart that knows how important relationships truly are, and acknowledging that loneliness is the first brave step towards something better. Because here's the truth, even if you feel alone today, it doesn't mean you have to stay that way. Even now, there are friendships waiting to be formed, laughter waiting to be shared, conversations that will make you feel alive again. It starts by understanding that loneliness is not your fault, and that reaching out is not only okay, it's vital. You're not forgotten, you're not invisible, and most importantly, you're not finished building meaningful connections, not even close. Number 2, the healing power of true companionship. There's a kind of healing that no medicine can give. It's the healing that comes from a friend who really listens, who remembers your stories, who shows up, not because they have to, but because they want to. Companionship isn't just nice at this stage of life, it's powerful. When you have a real friend, your whole body feels it. Studies have shown that seniors with strong social connections have lower blood pressure, stronger immune systems, and even better memory retention. But beyond the science, it's the emotional healing that matters most. A friend reminds you that you are seen. They celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and sit with you through your sorrows, no matter how deep. They call out the parts of you that are still curious, still vibrant, still alive, even when you've forgotten about them yourself. Think about the last time you really laughed with someone. Not a polite chuckle, but one of those full-body laughs that makes you wipe tears from your eyes. That's not just joy, that's therapy. That's your brain and your heart getting a reset. That's your spirit, remembering that life is still good, still funny, still worth every single moment. True companionship also gives you a mirror, a way to see yourself not through the lens of aging or loss, but through the eyes of someone who values you for exactly who you are. A good friend sees past your wrinkles, past your regrets, past the weight of your years, and focuses instead on your light. And in their eyes, you remember that light yourself. Friendships at this age aren't about competition or appearances or status. They're about connection. They're about sharing the wisdom you've earned and receiving the wisdom others have gathered on their journeys. They're about reminding each other that we're never too old to grow, to dream, to love. And maybe most importantly, a true friend gives you permission to be fully unapologetically yourself, to show up without pretending, to speak without fear of judgment, to be celebrated just for being who you are, right here, right now. Healing isn't a destination, it's a lifelong journey. And on that path, there's no better medicine than the simple, extraordinary gift of friendship. Number 3, friendships over 70, a different kind of relationship. Something beautiful happens to friendships as you get older. They deepen, they mature, they lose all the layers that used to get in the way, the ego, the competition, the need to impress, and what's left is something pure and strong. Friendships after 70 aren't built on shared classes, careers, or networking opportunities. They're built on something far more meaningful, understanding. At this point in life, you've been through enough to know that time is precious. There's no room left for fake smiles, shallow conversations, or people who don't truly see you. What you want now is real connection, real laughter, real loyalty. And the friendships you form or keep after 70 are often deeper because you've both been shaped by life. You understand grief, you understand joy, you understand what it means to lose and still choose to love. There's a mutual respect that only comes from shared survival, from knowing that both of you have lived a lot of life and still have the courage to keep your hearts open. It's also why, after 70, you don't need a dozen friends. You don't need the biggest social circle or the most party invitations. What matters now is quality over quantity. One real friend who picks up the phone when you call. One friend who knows your favorite song, your guilty pleasures, your secret dreams, That's more valuable than 1,000 acquaintances who don't know your middle name. Late-life friendships are also more forgiving. There's less judgment, fewer expectations. You're not trying to fix each other. You're simply walking alongside each other, offering a hand when the road gets rough, and celebrating the view when you reach the high points together. And here's the best part. There's a richness to these friendships that's hard to find earlier in life. You have the time now to sit and talk for hours, to savor the small moments, to build a friendship that's not rushed, not transactional, but simply about enjoying each other's company. At this stage, your friends don't just know who you are, they honor who you are, and being seen like that, being loved without conditions, is one of the greatest gifts you can ever receive. Number 4, how friends keep the mind and spirit alive. We talk a lot about how important it is to stay physically active as we age. And yes, walking, stretching, moving your body, it all matters. But staying socially active, that's just as important. Maybe even more so, because your mind and spirit thrive on connection. A good conversation with a friend can light up parts of your brain that reading or watching television simply can't reach. When you talk, laugh, listen, and share stories, your mind is firing on all cylinders. You're not just passing time, you're engaging, you're thinking, you're living. Friendships exercise the brain in ways that keep it sharp and resilient. It's not just the brain that benefits. Your spirit, that deep inner part of you, needs friendships too. Because without connection, it's easy for your world to shrink. Days blend into each other, interests fade, dreams quietly slip away. But when you have someone to share your days with, someone to call and say, "Guess what I just read?" Or "You won't believe what I saw today," everything feels more vivid. You feel more alive. Friends inspire you to keep learning, to stay curious, to try new things. Maybe it's picking up a new hobby because a friend mentioned it. Maybe it's traveling somewhere new because someone said, "Let's go see it together." Maybe it's simply daring to imagine a different kind of day because you know you'll have someone to share it with. There's also a beautiful emotional rhythm that friendships provide. You lift each other up. When one of you feels low, the other can offer perspective, comfort, or simply a steady presence. That shared emotional support keeps your heart resilient, your hope strong, and your sense of belonging intact. Spiritual health matters too. Friends often become our companions in exploring the big questions of life, the ones that don't have easy answers. Together, you can talk about the meaning of your journey, the lessons you've learned, the dreams you still carry. You can pray together, hope together, heal together. Because at the end of the day, keeping your mind and spirit alive isn't about pretending you're young again. It's about honoring who you are right now and choosing to stay engaged, connected, and full of wonder. And friends are the light that makes the path ahead brighter, no matter how many years you've walked. Number 5, building new friendships. It's never too late. There's a stubborn myth floating around that making new friends is something that belongs to the young, as if friendship has an expiration date. As if, past a certain point, you're supposed to just settle for the relationships you already have, no matter how few or distant they might be. But that's nonsense. Friendship doesn't have a deadline. Building new connections is not only possible after 70, it's powerful. In fact, it can be even more rewarding now than it was earlier in life. You're wiser, you're clearer about what matters, you know the kind of people who lift your spirit, and you're less willing to waste time on those who don't. That's a gift. It means every new friendship you build now has the potential to be deeper, more honest, and more soul-nourishing than anything you had before. Of course, reaching out can feel daunting at first, especially if you've lost touch with old friends, or if circumstances like retirement, moving to a new city, or the loss of a spouse have shifted your social world. It's easy to wonder, where do I even start? You start small. You start where you are. Community centers, libraries, hobby groups, faith communities. These are places buzzing with people who are just as eager for connection as you are. Volunteering is another beautiful doorway. When you give your time and talents, you not only help others, you open yourself to meeting like-minded souls who share your passions. And yes, even technology, that intimidating, ever-changing world, can be a bridge instead of a barrier. Learning how to use a smartphone, a tablet, or even social media platforms tailored for seniors can open up a whole new realm of connections, video calls, online classes, even friendship apps. These aren't just for young people anymore. They're tools you can use to stay connected, to laugh across miles, to meet someone new without even leaving your living room. The most important thing is to keep your heart open. Be willing to say hello. Be willing to ask someone to coffee. Be willing to join a book club, a walking group, a crafting class. Not every encounter will lead to a lifelong bond, and that's okay. But each step you take is an act of hope, a way of saying, I believe in new beginnings. And let's be honest, courage looks different at this stage of life. It's quieter, but it's even more powerful. Because building new friendships now isn't about filling a void. It's about honoring the part of you that still longs to connect, to share, to belong. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And that's a beautiful, powerful place to begin. Number 6, nurturing old and new friendships with intention. Friendships, like gardens, need tending. You can't just plant the seeds and walk away, hoping they'll survive on their own. They need sunlight, care, a little effort, and a lot of heart. After 70, nurturing friendships takes on a whole new depth. You realize that time together is precious, not something to be taken for granted. Every phone call, every lunch date, every silly text message matters. It's a thread that strengthens the bond, that reminds both of you, I'm here, you matter to me. One of the simplest ways to nurture a friendship is through small rituals. A weekly coffee date, a standing phone call on Sunday afternoons, sending a funny postcard or an unexpected note, just because. These small acts create a rhythm, a steady beat that keeps the connection alive even when life gets busy or complicated. Kindness matters more now than ever. A simple word of encouragement, a memory shared, a sincere "I was thinking of you today." These little moments add up to something profound. They build trust. They build warmth. They create a safe space where both of you can show up exactly as you are. No masks, no performances, just real, honest friendship. It also means learning the art of forgiveness. Over the years, friendships can collect scars, misunderstandings, moments of hurt, times when one of you fell short. Carrying those wounds forever only builds walls. Letting go, offering grace, choosing love over resentment, that's how friendships endure. That's how they grow deeper, not weaker, with time. And nurturing friendships means making space for vulnerability. It's okay to share your fears, your hopes, your struggles. In fact, it's necessary. True friendship isn't built on pretending everything is fine. It's built on being real, on trusting each other with the messy, beautiful truth of who you are. Most importantly, nurturing a friendship is about showing up, physically, emotionally, spiritually, being present, being available, being willing to sit in the quiet moments and the loud ones alike. Because friendships after 70 aren't about drama or obligation. They're about choice. Every call, every visit, every shared laugh is a deliberate act of love. And the friendships you choose to nurture now, they just might be the ones that carry you through the very best years of your life. Number 7, friends as your chosen family. There's something deeply powerful about realizing that family, isn't only defined by blood. Sometimes the people who love you the best, who stand by you the closest, aren't the ones who share your DNA. They're the ones you've chosen along the way. Friends become the family you built with your heart. After 70, this truth becomes even more vivid. Maybe your children live far away. Maybe you've outlived your siblings. Maybe your biological family was never the sanctuary you needed it to be. But friendship, real deep friendship, offers a different kind of family. A chosen one. One built on mutual respect, shared laughter, and unconditional support. Friends can fill every role you need. They become the brother or sister who understands your jokes without explanation. They become the children who listen to your stories with wide, grateful hearts. They become the parents who offer wisdom and comfort when you're feeling lost. They become the ones you call first with good news, or the ones you lean on when grief tries to break you. And unlike family we're born into, chosen family is rooted in freedom. In saying, I choose you. I choose to be here. I choose to walk beside you, not because I have to, but because I want to. That kind of bond is pure. It's healing. It's sacred. Many people think that after a certain age, the opportunity to create deep new bonds fades away. But the opposite is true. Some of the most meaningful relationships of your entire life can happen in these years, precisely because you're not chasing anything anymore. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not looking for approval. You're simply looking to connect, soul to soul. Your chosen family, your circle of trusted friends, can be your anchor. They're the ones who will celebrate the holidays with you when blood relatives can't. They're the ones who will sit beside you at the doctor's office, who will remember your birthday, who will come running when you need help. They are proof that love, loyalty, and belonging aren't limited to childhood or young adulthood. They are for every season of life. And when you build your life around these sacred friendships, you realize something profound. You are not alone. You have built a tribe, a family, a home in the hearts of others. And that is a legacy more lasting than anything else you could create. Conclusion. The treasure waiting in every hand you reach for. If you hear nothing else from this conversation today, hear this. You are never too old to love, to laugh, to connect, and to build something new. Friendships are not a bonus after 70. They are a lifeline. They are the color, the music, the heartbeat of a life well lived. They heal the wounds that time may have left. They spark joy in places you thought might stay quiet forever. They remind you that no matter what has changed in your body, in your family, and the world around you, your heart is still strong, still young in all the ways that matter. Yes, loneliness is real. Yes, loss can be overwhelming. But right alongside the sorrow, there is also the possibility of incredible new beginnings. Every day, you wake up is another chance to reach out a hand, to smile at someone new, to say yes to a conversation, a coffee date, an adventure. Every day is a new page in a chapter you are still writing. A chapter that can be filled with love, connection, and laughter if you let it. Remember, the treasure isn't in the things you own, the awards you've won, or the milestones you've achieved. It's in the faces of the people who know your stories, who sit with you in your memories, who walk with you into whatever tomorrow brings. You have the power to keep building your circle, to keep expanding your heart, to keep living fully, richly, and connectedly. The road behind you is long and beautiful, and the road ahead can be just as breathtaking, especially when you walk it hand in hand with true friends. Your story isn't over. Your heart isn't finished loving. And somewhere out there, someone is waiting to be your friend, just as much as you are waiting to be theirs. So take a breath, take a chance, and take one small step toward the extraordinary friendships that still lie ahead. Because life after 70 isn't the closing act. It's a brand new masterpiece, waiting to be painted with the colors of connection.